Okay, Cashstick Bowcraft here today. As some of you may or may not know, I've been spending the last few weeks building a muzzleloader, 54 caliber long rifle. And what I've been doing in between the various projects of building that long rifle is I've been making myself a shooting bag and kit to go with it. So what I'm going to do, what I thought I'd do is give you a short video here of all of the items that I made and the bag and what I keep in this bag, and hopefully what I'll be using when I'm out shooting that long gun. So let me put the camera down and get everything set up, and I'll show you what I've got. Alright, so first off, what we have here is this powder horn that I made. I just bought the raw cow horn here, and I drove in copper nails. I made the plug, and I also made the little eyelet here. This is basically I think this is a 1/4 inch copper pipe that I pounded and drilled a hole through. And I've also got a deer antler stopper on here. Nothing fancy. I just thought this deer antler, continued this line, and it looked nice on the horn. I didn't do any carving or anything other than this little notch here to put this lanyard in. But just a simple powder horn that I made. I hand twisted the jute cord here and waxed it, and that's the powder horn. So that's the one thing. Another thing is I didn't make this Tomahawk. This is actually a modification from a cold steel pipe hawk. But I did make the leather collar and the leather sheath here. And I did do some file work to the blade and the bit to make it mine. These cold steel Tomahawks come with an Allen wrench screw that really isn't needed if you have this thing fitted on the handle the right way. So rather than having a hole in where the screw goes, I just turned the screw backwards and screwed it from the inside out, and polished it down so it looked like a little decoration. Did a little bit of file work on the top here, and I charred the handle. So this thing, this leather thing can come off, and this bit can just slide right off the handle if you wanted to take it off. And nice little belt Tomahawk here. I figured all long rifle hunters should have a Tomahawk, so that's why I made this. I made this for that rifle. Then I've got the sheath here that's stitched with rawhide and a simple thong to hold it onto the blade. Right here what I've got is this is actually a old hickory slicer knife that I had modified the profile of and made a sheath for. It's stitched with rawhide as well. But with this old hickory, I blued the blade. I reprofiled it. There's like a little hump that comes with the blade, like comes over the back of the blade. And I just filed that down and made it straight. And then I took off the old handles and put on walnut handles, and had some, I think these are 1/4 inch pins that I put in here. So that's my old hickory long knife. It comes with this sheath here that I made. Goes right in there. This sheath doesn't have any belt loops or anything. It's meant to be put through the belt or into the stack here, and then I just wrap it around with this piece of cordage here to hold it in place, and it works pretty good. This here is my brush that I made out of the same kind of copper tubing, and I put fishing line on the end because I didn't have any horsehair, and it makes for a nice stiff brush. Don't know how well this works yet, but I will be doing it, and it's just my little pan brush that I made. And then this vent pick I just made out of coat hanger. Okay, I got them strapped to the strap here of my shooting pouch, and that's where it hangs. Here I've got a antler powder measure. This holds 90 grains of black powder, but on the inside here you could see that I've got other grain weights marked off, so if I wanted to shoot 75 or 60 grains or 80 grains of whatever kind of powder, I just put it in there. But I typically shoot 90 grains of black powder. At least I do it out of my Hawken, but I'm not sure what how many grains I'll be shooting out of this rifle because I haven't shot it yet. But this is my antler powder measure. This is a canvas shooting bag that I made. I dyed it and I waxed it, melted wax on it to help make it a little bit more waterproof, a little bit more durable. And these are just a cotton, these are from an old brown belt that I had because we used to practice karate. And I just cut up the brown belt and sewed it onto the back of this. I think it looks alright. Inside, got some patching material used to patch the balls with. I made a leather ball bag. Keep all the balls in. I made this bag some time ago, but this bag now belongs with that rifle. So this bag will stay with that rifle. It's a leather shooting bag that I made a while back. Let's see here. I've got a Altoids tin full of patch material. I've got these leather wads because sometimes, as I feel like it, I'll put a leather wad over the powder, and it just makes for sometimes it's more accurate when you put a little wad like that underneath the ball. It just depends on how I feel while I'm out shooting, but I got a bunch of these in here, and then these patches are lubed patches, and then I've got some regular pillow ticking here for dry patches if I wanted to use those. Okay, let's see. There's a little tiny Altoids tin. It's got extra flints. I think I've got about 5 flints in here. I keep some patch material in here too to keep them from rattling around. You can never have too much patch material. You know, you use that to clean your gun and to patch the balls. That's always a good thing to have. And let's see. And then I have my, this is the last thing I made, was this ball starter. Just had some scrap wood laying around. I have some rifle casings that I used for the brass tips on here. And it's my little bullet starter. I don't hardly ever use a bullet starter. Normally I'll just use the Ramrod, but they do come in handy. So I made one, and this will be kept in the bag as well. So there you go, that's about it. I do have, oh yeah, here it is. Here's another Altoids tin. And basically what I have in here, I made a turn screw out of a eye bolt that I bought at Home Depot. Heated it up, flattened it out, and with this I can pretty much take the entire lock apart. I can take all the little tiny screws out, as well as the flintlock screw as well, and the bolt, the lock bolt screw and everything. So I can pretty much dismantle the whole gun with this one tool, which is cool. Got a little antler here to, if I wanted to re-nap the flint when it gets dull, you can re-nap the edge of the flint and make it sharp again. And then more patch material here, keep everything from rattling around. I made a little tool here that I can use to drive out the barrel pins if I wanted to remove the barrel. This is the same pin material that's used to hold the barrel together. And I just basically put an antler head and I put a flat top on it, so if I wanted to wrap it with a hammer or with that short starter, I can use this to drive out the pins. And then of course you got your various cleaning jags and a little worm to attach to your ramrod, taking out patching that's been stuck. And then this little tool here, it's just a little tool with a little notch on it. And this also too is a flint napper too. You just set this little notch on the edge of the flint and strike it down with a hammer, and it'll resharpen the flint for you too. Sorry about that, ran out of memory on my camera there. So there you go, that's all my stuff that I keep in my shooting bag. A little bit close up of the bag here. I've got 2 compartments in the bag, and I've also got a compartment in the back of the bag here as well. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is probably not such a good idea, because basically all this is, it's a bucket to hold rain. Unless I probably put a flap over it, but every time I look at this thing, I'm thinking that, you know, water's just going to get in there really easily. So I'm not going to keep stuff in here. I'll probably just keep it all in this bag here. So there you go. That's my shooting kit for that new rifle that I've got. Hopefully I'll be shooting that soon. Also, what I also have too, I just went and picked up this Ramrod puller. This thing goes on your ramrod and you can pull it out of your barrel if it gets stuck. I've only had that happen to me a couple of times over the last 20 years, but I saw this and I bought it because I thought this was a great idea and a great thing to have. It's a lot easier than to try to hold it a little bit with your fingers trying to pull that thing out. But anyway, this is a good thing to have too. So this is all my kit. I'll have some pictures at the end of this video so you can check everything out. So there you go. Cash Stick Bowcraft. Thanks for watching.